Welcome to the accessibility edition of the Second Life Student Challenge. Before I introduce our presenter, I did want to mention to everybody that after the presentation today, we will be taking a trip to Happy Hippo, which is a place for more building resources. And I want to welcome Leslea and JeZeBeLe from Happy Hippo, who are here and will help us get there. So, I want to introduce Gentle Heron. She is the founder and president of Virtual Ability Incorporated, which is an international cross-disability peer support community that's based here in Second Life. Since she launched this organization in 2007, I believe, she has helped to create an inclusive online environment where people with disabilities can connect, learn, and participate on equal footing. Under her leadership, Virtual Ability has grown into a global community offering education, advocacy, and social engagement. As you guys probably saw in our resources here, you can go to Virtual Ability. They have the best onboarding, learning how to use Second Life available in Second Life. And I strongly encourage you to go there too, because there's a lot of free stuff at the end. And with that, I'll let you take over, Gentle.
Thank you, Marie. That was a very nice introduction. I appreciate it. So I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm going to be using voice and text today. I'm hoping that if you can't hear me, you can read the text and that you can see the slides behind me. So welcome everyone. It's exciting to find out that there's, 16 teams participating this year in the Student Challenge? That's amazing. I wish all the teams the best of luck on your work. I'm going to offer some tips about making your builds accessible. I'm going to start out today by asking the audience some quick questions, and you can respond in either voice or text. That's fine. And then after the questions, I'm going to give you the suggestions so that you can make your builds more accessible. This slide here shows a couple of accessibility features that you probably have already seen in the physical world. So here comes the first quick question. Do you think it will be important that your work in Second Life is accessible? You can just answer yes or no, or put a Y or an N. Okay, when the professor says yes, it's an important thing to pay attention. Yeah, I agree. And I hope everyone who works in the virtual world thinks about accessibility, because it's important everywhere. In the physical world, in the virtual world, they all need to be accessible. But what does accessibility actually mean? Do we need handicap parking spaces in Second Life? Do we need grab bars in the toilet stalls in Second Life? Of course we don't. So what is accessibility in a virtual world all about? To answer that question, first we have to think about who needs a virtual world to be accessible. So this is the first of 4 parts of the second quick question. Which of these people need special accessibility accommodations in Second Life? A person who's paralyzed, a person who is an arm amputee, or a person who wears glasses? Which of these people need special accessibility accommodations in Second Life? You can just put the letters or say the letters. Dr. O'Connor thinks if you're paralyzed, you probably need accessibility, or if you're an arm amputee. Lillian is agreeing. Marie thinks all of them, and so does Magua. What about our other students? What do you think? Andrea thinks all of them also. Okay. All of the above, Arcane says. And yes, I would agree with that. Different kinds of accessibility accommodations, but they all need it. So we're going to move on to the second part of this question. Who here needs special accessibility accommodations? A person who's blind, a person who has a leg amputation, or a person who's deaf? Leslea says blind and deaf, and Dr. O'Connor is agreeing. Million. I would say that's probably most of the time true, but a person with a leg amputation may have pain issues that may impact their ability to have continuous attention in Second Life. So that might be something you need to think about. So now we're going to move on to the third part of this question. I couldn't put all of these on the same slide. So who here needs accessibility accommodations? A person with arthritis, a person who's colorblind, or a person who has seizures? All of them. Yeah, you're right. Different accommodations again, but they all need some sort of accommodation. And here's the last part of this question. Who here needs special accommodations? Somebody whose native language isn't English, somebody who has a brain injury, or someone who has vertigo? I think you're catching on to my trick here. Lots of people need accommodation. So now I'd like to share with you some theory and then some practical suggestions. I want you to look carefully at the pictures on this slide. The theory that I'm talking about with these pictures is called universal design. And you can click that box that's down by my feet, and you'll get a note card about universal design. There are 7 principles to universal design: equitable use, flexibility in use, simple and intuitive use, perceptible information, tolerance for error, low physical effort, size and space for approach and use. Equitable use means everybody can use it, regardless of their level of ability. And of course, flexibility means offering more than one way to use or access it. Simple, of course, means making sure that how to use it is obvious. Perceptible means that you can get the information through different senses, your eyes, your ears, maybe even your sense of touch. Tolerance for error means to make things easy to touch or see so that people don't make mistakes. Low physical effort helps people who have fatigue issues. And size and space will help us include both small and large avatars. So now we're going to go on to quick question number 3. Looking at the 3 different illustrations on this slide, there's one of them that's the best illustration of universal design. And why? Can you see the differences between the 3? And 2 of them are grayed out for equality. There are differences between accommodation and accessibility, aren't there? Can you tell what the differences are for accessibility and accommodation? Well, accommodations are nice, and they're very helpful. They can also be stigmatizing. The chair might roll off. The lady in the red skirt might feel like, she's kind of uncomfortable standing up there on the box. It's really important to create environments that are accessible to everyone in the first place. So the top illustration has a larger chalkboard so that people who are shorter or people in a chair can access it. Did you know that universal design helps other people besides those of us who have disabilities? For example, Virtual Ability members always give their presentations in both text and voice, like I'm doing today. Why do we do that? Sure, some of our members are completely deaf, so they need the text, and others are completely blind, so they need to hear what's going on. But it's also true that it's a lot easier to understand a language that is not your native tongue from text than it is from audio. So a flexibility system that benefits deaf and blind disabled people also is helpful for persons whose first language isn't English. And that's part of the beauty of universal design. The point of the images on this slide is, if you treat everyone equally, that sounds really good, but some people won't be able to perform adequately. To address that problem, you can either provide individual accommodations, like the bottom right picture, or you can make your product accessible to all. And accessibility is the preferred method. So now some practical advice for you to use as you design your builds. You want to simplify everything. You want to simplify your builds. Fancy is not wise. You want to provide room to maneuver. Use ramps if you have multiple levels, not stair steps. Don't put seats back against the walls, because that puts the seated person's point of view back outside the wall. I can give this as a hint to Marie with my chair. You want to avoid flashes and spins, because those induce seizures and vertigo. You want to simplify your message. Use common terms. If you have to use technical words, define and explain them. Use simple sentence structure. And a hint, if a 10-year-old could understand your message, that's probably a good sign. You want to name the objects in your build. Blind people in Second Life see the virtual world through the names of the items around them. The default name of everything you build in Second Life is object. If everything around you is named object when you're blind, how will you know which object is the door to walk through, which object is the chair to sit on, or which object might be the book to pick up? Don't freak out. This is an actual font. You want to make text information accessible in your builds. Isn't that a horrible font? The best thing to do is to choose a sans serif font. And I'm going to recommend Arial. That's a common one. Helvetica is a common one. If you want something a little different, you can use Proxima Nova, Futura. Calibri is pretty good too. And there is also actually a dyslexia font that helps people with reading disabilities. And that is a live link there in the chat that you can click and find the dyslexia font. You also want to pay attention to color contrast. Some people like lots of different colors in their text. You might want to take a peek at that link at WebAIM, and that will help you to understand the people who have color vision issues and why color contrast is important. Another thing that's important is to stick with one font. When you've got a choice of fonts, it's kind of fun to play with different ones, but it really helps people understand your message if it's all in one font. You want to use multiple types of communication if possible. So if you're presenting, you can use text and voice. There are several ways to do this. If you have a prepared script, as I am using today, you will find a copy of the tool that I'm using to put that text out in that box by my feet. It's called a Speak Easy. Please don't try it out yet. You can try it when you have time after class. The Speakeasy, you just add it to your avatar. It attaches on the inside of your computer screen. At the top left, it's a little blue box. Nobody else will see it, just you will. You don't see a blue box on my head. And what it does is it types into local chat the text that you put into its Speak Me note card. It puts out one sentence at a time. And so what I did was I put my prepared text into the Speakeasy. And you can practice with this later, of course. Directions are in the Speakeasy README note card that's in it right now. So when you add the HUD, it's going to appear on the top left of your screen. You can edit it while it's there, but I would suggest that you click through it because you'll be getting the directions. It'll be useful to you, I think, to check the Second Life wiki for more information. I don't know if you knew that Second Life has a very useful wiki. This link that you're going to get from the wiki is all about accessibility. You're going to find solutions to things such as people who have keyboard and mouse use disabilities, like the arm amputee in the picture, or like the person who was paralyzed. Some solutions for people with reading disabilities, like we talked about in terms of fonts. People with hearing or speech disabilities, and people with developmental delays. There's also, towards the bottom of that wiki page, a special section of accessibility suggestions for builders, creators, and sim designers. So you're definitely going to want to bookmark that link for use in the future. And that's all I'm really going to say today. I want to thank you for your attention. If, as you're preparing for the Student Challenge, you come across an accessibility problem or an accessibility issue, you're very welcome to send an email to info@virtualability.org, and we'll try to help you create as accessible a build as you can manage. So are there any questions from the students? Arcane does not have questions.
Hello, may I ask a question?
Of course, Andrea.
You said that in the box we have something that help us to put the text in the chat box.
Yes,
So this tool, we can use it only here or everywhere in Second Life.
anywhere in Second Life.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, and John is asking about ramps and elevators. An elevator may be okay. Some elevators in Second Life actually cause people in wheelchairs to stand up with the wheelchair attached to their butt and walk. That is not good. So if you are looking at a wheelchair accessible elevator, fine, but test it out ahead of time. It's an interesting question. I've not had that question before. And we do have wheelchairs at Virtual Ability that we can give you if you want to use one to test things out. Marie, please don't do rotations at all. People with vertigo and other issues can get actually physically ill. They get nauseous from rotation, so please don't. And it doesn't. The speed is not the problem. It's just the fact that it's rotating.
Yeah, I asked that question on purpose.
I know you know. But you know, advertisers tell you to make rotating and flashing because it gets people's attention, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. And particle emission is also a problem. You know, those things that send out little sparkles or little hearts or little butterflies or whatever. Fireworks, yep. Those are a problem too. You know, Marie, they're also a problem in terms of script level on the sim. Yes, and Marie is explaining. She's doing a good job there of explaining technical terms. They take up computer resources to display. That's what script level issues means. Thank you, Alvy. Thank you, Marie. Yes, they do cause lag. You don't want that.
Do you have any other questions? Is anyone here using a translator? That's another. Is that a accommodation or an accessibility feature?
Are you asking me, Marie?
Yeah.
It could be both.
That's what I think.
They're very helpful. But we still need voice to text.
Okay, so I'd like everyone to give Gentle a round of applause. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day to come talk to us about this very, very important topic, especially as the students will be graded on the accessibility of their exhibits.
Thank you for having me, and I encourage students to click that box by my feet to get those resources.
Okay, does everyone know how to use a landmark? If you want to stand up.
I'll stay back and help folks find their way.
All right, so I think I gave it to everybody.
We're still learning stuff too.
I gave you guys a landmark, so look in your inventory for Happy Hippo Building School.
So good morning. Welcome to the Happy Hippo Building School and Sandbox. My name is Lesley, and JeZeBeLe is very close to me here, right to my right. And we're the co-owners. We are the co-owners of Happy Hippo Building School. This is a place where residents can come to learn, to build, to experiment with things, and to help each other. And we're really excited to present this to you all. So one thing to note, in Second Life, there's many different viewers, and everyone has different features. So if you're trying to explain to somebody where to find it or to find a feature, you need to realize that they may not be seeing the same thing you are. So that was something that's really interesting. I make tutorials, and you'll see the board where they are. And that was one of the things that has really become obvious, is that I needed to explain for different viewers. So Happy Hippo is both a sandbox and a build school. So a sandbox is simply a place where anyone can res objects and experiment. And when you combine that with a learning community, it becomes a resource all in its own. One of the things that we always tell people is, one, name your object. First thing when you res it, name your object. And when you're done, clean up after yourself. Our first stop that we're going to be seeing is we're going to look. We've got two things that are very close together, and one is a board that says which staff members are online, and beside that is a calendar. And so we're going to go over there, and then I'm going to let Jez take over at that point.
All right, so the staff board here is designed for you to know if people are online or offline that are related to the faculty here at the school and Sandbox. Some people are instructors and helpers and maintenance crew. Some people are peer support in the Happy Hippo group as well, and I really encourage individuals to join groups that are helpful, because asking a question, somebody in a large group would have an answer for that, and oftentimes they will speak up. Okay, let's go over here. So this is our calendar area, and this is our second stop. This is where you can see build workshop classes happening here at Happy Hippo. If you're looking to learn something specific, like building techniques, texturing, scripting, this is where you can see what the instructors have to offer you. And then as you can see, it's a Google Calendar setup, and you can click. There's our website, which is at happyhippoeducation.com. So let me type the website.
You can actually touch the sign above the calendar, and it will take you right to the website. It's happyhippoedu.com.
Okay, and so right around the corner here is our instructor spotlight area.
And we've got the TP board beside the calendar.
And also below the calendar is helpful places to visit in Second Life. And left clicking is your friend here at Happy Hippo. Left clicking things is your friend. Okay.
And so when you've looked at the calendar, it tells you what classroom the class is in. And so right in front of me, I have a calendar TP board. So people can touch the TP board. It will bring up a map, and you can TP directly to the class. The classes are in color, and I've stated what color they are because that will help with different accessibility issues. And so we will move on.
This is our teacher spotlight area, instructor spotlight area, and it gives you a perspective of what the instructors have an interest in teaching or about in their workshops. So there's slideshows, and it's each module is showing you the different variety of topics that we do cover here at the school.
Okay. So then we can just carry moving on. Okay, so here, and I haven't got this typed out yet. Here we have just various resources for the school, like actually things that people can purchase that are not part of the school, but are just conveniently located here, or just tools. Okay, so we know that people have different accessibility needs, and in order to try meeting those, we've presented classes in voice, we present classes in text, and in hands-on experiences. So there's the different modes of that. In front of me, these are called our Freeview tutorials. And they are classes. Every one of the buttons on these two boards is a class. And these classes are open 24/7. So anyone who finds the self-taught mode the best, this is a really good place for them to go. Board on the left is new, and it focuses specifically on textures and PBRs. The one on the right is just general topics, generally at a beginner level. This black circle is actually a teleport, and it goes to a platform which is specifically dedicated to PBR, and there are supplies and classes up there. So if you would like some freebies for PBR, you can go up there and get them. These three cubicles, I guess for lack of a better word, are scripting, initial, beginner scripting in LSL. So they're rather like TVs where you can just click on them and it will teach. It will teach some beginning scripting. Okay, Jez, would you like to take over for the next part?
Okay,
LRC?
now we're going to run over, well, we're not going to, well, it depends on how you want to transport. We're going to the Learning Center. So
it's that giant building in behind, way over behind the staff board. It's that big building, that big red building, and we're going to head over there. And that's our Learning and Resource Center.
it's the Red Tower of Happy Hippo. Basically, the Ivory Tower is a building resource in Second Life, and the red building here is the next step. Someone asked a question earlier about elevators. That was a really good question. And what we have done here is we changed it from stairs, and we had ramps originally, and then we changed it to a teleport system. So if you're considering accessibility, use teleports. Here is our teleport system. And if you left click a box, it will tell you about the floor and send you a map to go to that level. So again, left clicking is your friend, and if you mouse over things, you will see that your mouse changes to tell you it's a scripted object that you're about to trigger. So the first floor is about getting started. A couple of things like troubleshooting wearing clothing or attachments, appearance tutorials, places for different languages, how to use landmarks and teleports, a couple of avatar appearance freebies, and resources and tools for getting more freebies and using skill building with camera controls and that kind of thing. This is like beginner level floor. Second floor is the beginner level building tools. I would invite you to go to that floor, to click the teleport and go up. This is where you can get started about learning the differences between the two edit menus. So the left side here is the Second Life viewer and the right side is the Firestorm viewer. Edit menus, and it goes into detail around the room. It's really important to talk about things like what is Creative Commons, what are permissions, what is Digital Millennium Copyright Act, those kind of things. We provide a couple of resources for different things like animating objects. On this floor we have the Animesh, which is a really important resource for animating objects and creating props. Chrissy is an instructor here, and she's standing right next to it. She's actually one of the instructors that teaches that topic of how to animate furniture and props. So I invite you to actually to go on your pace, floor to floor in this building. As you can see, the next floor is functionality. Okay, so as you can see, if we can teleport to the functionality floor, you'll get an idea of what we have available on the functionality floor. It's set up like a computer lab, and I will meet you up there. So in this space is all about troubleshooting topics. How do I do my profile? What size profile picture do I use? How do I terraform? What are debug settings? Those kind of questions are answered in this room. And again, if you left mouse click, it will give you the wiki page and the resource. So look around, see what there is available in this space. Some of the topics might interest you. How to sell things on the marketplace. Why can't I see? Why am I a ghost? So yeah, everybody needs to function in Second Life, and these are resources for that topic. I would say from the advanced floor up is where it gets to become more complicated, more time is needed to learn those skills, to master them. So the advanced floor talks about different topics like scripting, creating clothing, creating avatars, machinima, Animesh, Blender. So the advanced floor, please teleport there. You have to be advanced, but they are advanced topics. The resources here, a lot of them are YouTube videos, so we have the audio, visual, kinesthetic learning. A lot of them provide note cards. And those note cards are all that information compiled on a note card, ready for you to take home and use. And They give information in a region message. So if you click a poster, it will talk about that topic and give you that information privately, so we don't all see that information. So at your own pace, please use this resource and explore the different floors. As you can see, the materials floor, and then there's lighting, and that talks about environmental lighting and photography. So as you can see, we tried to cover a lot of our bases. We don't have all the information, but we do have a lot.
Okay, so we do have many resources, as you can see. And so I'm just going to encourage you to return at your own pleasure and check out the rest, see what's available, learn, because obviously, as you can see, there are so many topics and there are so many resources. We also have a lot of freebies, lots and lots of freebies in terms of textures, animations, things like that. So please just come back and see what you can find, because you might find something you find helpful.
We're going to hang out here for a little while, so if you have questions, we'll hang out and answer some questions, and at our pace, our communication pace.
We do have a chat group that people can join. And so we just really want this to be a warm place for people to come and to learn about anything that they want to learn. In-world programs, some out-of-world programs. It's great. Okay. Well, it was nice to meet you, John. Take care. And we are going to stick around. If you have any questions, please stay here and ask.